CannaBama helps the good times grow. Sweet home CannaBama, where the weed grows high. Sweet home CannaBama, beneath the southern sky. Sweet home CannaBama, where the knowledge flows. Sweet home CannaBama, where the good times grow. Roll on, CannaBama, roll on. Spread the word, let your freedom song be known. Sweet home CannaBama, yeah.
I got my pants on.
It's not been a good day.
Smoke, baby.
Alright, stop. Light a blunt and listen. Smoke is back with a brand new intention. Something hit my throat not lightly. Flow through my lungs daily and nightly.
Will it ever stop?
Yo, I don't know. Hand me a light. We'll glow to the extreme. I smoke a blunt like a candle. Light up the air with my wax you can't handle. Smoke. Go light a pipe with that new strain. I'll be expanding your brain like a freight train. Vape. When smell is an issue. You smell so good, even Granny will. You love it or love it. Either way, higher education is the. Check out the inventory, it's still evolving.
Smoke, smoke, baby. Higher education.
Courage and numbers, Vegas bound they go. The world awaits for the stories to flow. Dr. Bridget's vision, a powerful scene, changing hearts and minds, a cannabis dream. Courage in cannabis, Vegas lights ablaze. Sharing stories powerful in so many ways. Where voices ignite, changing the narrative, shining ever so bright. Cannabis is medicine, a beacon in the night, guiding those in need towards a future bright. The power of sharing, a force that sets things right, igniting conversations, sparking a new light. Courage in cannabis, Vegas lights ablaze. Sharing stories powerful in so many ways. Spot. Where voices change. Light, join the movement, shine your inner light.
Well, I heard Mr. Young sang about her. Said Sutherland don't need him around anyhow. But sweet home CannaBama's got a different sound, where cannabis knowledge is spread all over town. Jennifer Boozer's the airway, FM Top 106.5. She's got the crew talking about hemp and CBD with a rebel yell, educating folks and doing it well. Sweet home CannaBama, where the weed grows high. Sweet home CannaBama, beneath the southern sky. Sweet home CannaBama, where the knowledge flows. Sweet home CannaBama, where good times grow. Now Citizen Green TV saw something special, yeah. Invited Sweet home CannaBama to their sphere. Reaching vets with wellness that's their aim, spreading the word. Ease in the pain. MJBiz calling, they recognize the pain. Sweet home CannaBama, where the knowledge flows. Sweet home CannaBama, where the good times go. From Mobile, Alabama, the message cast to see they sow. Sweet home CannaBama, help with good times grow. Sweet home CannaBama, where the weed grows high. Sweet home CannaBama, beneath the southern sky. Sweet home CannaBama, where the knowledge flows. Sweet home CannaBama, where the good times grow. Roll on, CannaBama, roll on.
FM Talk 1065.
FM Talk 1065. The Gulf Coast Weather Authority. It's time for Sweet Home CannaBama, a show that'll answer all your questions, provide accurate information, and dispel the myths of cannabis. And have your specific questions answered by emailing Jennifer@CannaBama.com or text or call 343-0106. And now, for all things cannabis in Alabama, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Jennifer Boozer, owner and founder of CannaBama in downtown Mobile. We are located at 558 St. Francis Street in downtown and close to all the restaurants and bars, so we can't miss us. 3-story orange building in downtown. We're open 7 days a week. And our phone number is 251-255-5155 under Instagram and X. And of course, we're every Monday at 7 o'clock right here on FM Talk 1065 to talk about cannabis. Want to mention real quick, Christmas is coming. Now that we've gotten through the big meal with the family, we had a great day the day before Thanksgiving. So hope everybody had a good time with their family, thanks to us. But we want to mention Christmas gifts, for the cannabis consumer in your life. We have lots of things to choose from, lots of new products. I got some lollipops. We got 175 lollipops last week, and they are almost gone already. Lots of different new products. Dirty Santa gifts, gag gifts, for the people that aren't sure. And then, of course, we have all of the pantry products from Elevated Table. If you would like to infuse any of your holiday dishes, be them sweet or savory, there is something that you can use: butter, peanut butter, olive oil, all that good stuff to infuse holiday meal items or the whole stinking thing, depending on how much you like or dislike your family. So come see us. We're open 7 days a week. We will only be closed on Christmas Day and a little bit early on Christmas Eve. But yeah, we want to be there because if not, y'all are going to call me all day and night anyway. So we're just going to stay open. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., I will be leaving for Vegas. I know you guys remember me talking about the opportunity to go to MJBizCon as a member of the press. So we are going to go. My producer is going to join me in Vegas. We're going to live stream. We're going to do convention stuff. We've got different parties, pajama party, an all black party, a mixer at a golf party. I think I'm even doing something with people on Friday. I think I'm going to a tribal event, and Michael knows. He'll tell me. But anyway, I want to say thank you to our sponsors for helping get us there. Boro Hemp and Elevated Table. Like I said, we have their products. Also today, on Amazon, you can get the Elevated Table's new book called The Bartender's Guide to Cannabis Cocktails. That's available free on Amazon right now, so go and get that. We want to thank Casper's Oil, #1 pet oil in Texas, our only pet oil. NTRL, who we sell some of their products, and they make our CannaBama gummies that everybody loves. And higher education in Virginia, Brian Robbins and his crew up there, Don, we thank you so much for your sponsorship. Honeycomb Hydro and Seed the Change, Hexadize, and Natco Pro. Thank you to all these people for helping us to get to Vegas and have everything we need to make sure that you guys get to experience this with us. So check them out and show them some love. Go get that cocktail book and get the cookbook too, because there's 101 recipes in that. And this stuff that Boro Hemp makes is amazing. So, tonight we want to welcome back to the show our good friend, Martin Smith. We spoke to him a few months ago and wanted to bring him back on to discuss the topics that we didn't get to talk about last time. And Martin is the president of the Kentucky Hemp Farmers Association. Welcome back, Martin. Martin, are you there?
I'm here. Sorry, I had us on mute.
There you are. Oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I was starting to sweat.
Yeah, I hear you. It was a unplug the user error.
Okay, that's okay. We forgive you.
Yeah, unplug user and strike any key. Yeah, so I heard you say you're going to go see the tribal folks. Well, you're talking to that's my world. That's where I get most of my learning about, plant medicines and plant nutrition. I like to call it, as you know, and you do too. But
yes.
And so, looking at the tribal scenario, I mean, a nation inside of a nation. So
right.
Really, I'm really encouraging you to really embark on that, especially after the discussion today. I'm
really excited about it. And like I said, Michael planned a lot of my events for. I'm going to be there by myself because Michael has to go to Miami on Friday, so I'll be going to that all by my lonesome. But I'm really excited because I've never done anything like that before.
Well, you're going to do great, and you're going to represent the opportunity really well. I'm going to turn this down, get that glare out of my eyes. So what I mean by the tribal law, that's ringing my bell, because that's where I, really grasp the ideas of inherent sovereignty is from my native roots, being here previous to even government law that we talk about today. So it's going to be a real deep, rich topic, and I hope it really fortifies you when you go into that environment to really see things a little more clearly.
I hope so too. I always get so much out of our conversations. Real quick, before we get on to our topic, remind us what you do up there in Kentucky.
Yeah, so I have a company called United Global Co-Opportunities, and we're an innovation company that holds another company called International Pharmaceutical Extracts. And inside of that company, we represent plant extracts and the potential for it to really elevate the status of how we think about, the way we nutritional health, mental health, physical health, and look at the environment much really focused in on how do we set the framework for these compounds in nature to integrate into these spaces where, it's not that we've not had the opportunity to bring these conversations to the government. It's whether or not we knew how to bring them to the government and under what authority. And so I'm excited tonight to talk about what authority we do have, because I believe it really changes and will really change the dynamic of thinking when we look at not just cannabis, but a lot of things in our communities that we can help to influence the greater conversation with. And so I'm excited today. As you can tell, I'm fired up. I don't get many opportunities to talk to 50,000 people plus on the real value of who they are as an American and as a sovereign individual who has inherited all this great and wonderful opportunities.
Well, I get to do this every week, but I still get nervous and excited, and it never gets old. So it is an awesome and humbling opportunity to get to speak to that many people every week. So I appreciate the depth of your knowledge and your willingness to share it with us.
I'm excited. I'm excited too. Let's dive into this thing.
Okay, last time we got into the topic of inherent sovereignty, but we did not have time to really unpack it. So why don't we start there? Can you explain in detail what inherent sovereignty means? And I'm going to let you kind of take over. I'm trying to rest up my voice for Vegas, and I'm going to just kind of let you go, and I'll ask questions as I feel led.
What? I get to have my way? What? I don't ever get my way. I have to work for it. So maybe I've earned it. So
just forgive me if I have to interrupt you for a commercial break.
Oh yeah, just in a minute and a half, I see it coming. So
yes.
So inherent sovereignty, I'm glad that you're really asking me to explain it, because that's where it really starts. Inherent sovereignty really starts with the value that you place on yourself, in which God would value you enough to supply you with everything you need inside of his capabilities, and to do that in a way that improves your sovereignty, which means my ability to defend myself, to be in goodwill, to be in the pursuit of happiness. You've heard that been said before. So in order to have the ability to pursue happiness, there has to be an awareness of goodness that has been given to me, and to be able to express that in a way that aligns with a truth that can't be denied. Because because in doing that, I'm not speaking specifically for myself, but I'm using the authority that I have to talk about those inherent sovereignty. So what is an inherent sovereignty? So inherent sovereignty means that you've come here on this planet, and there were things here waiting for you. Wonderful things.
Wait, let me stop you right there. I said I would interrupt you. Let's go ahead and go to the break, because I don't want them to miss this. We'll be right back after this commercial. At CannaBama, we believe that CBD is for everyone. Our demographic is human. There's no race, age, gender, socioeconomic, education, or religious difference in our chemical and electrical systems. Let no human be excluded. We work hard to create an environment of learning. Our goal is to bring together all people in need of help while celebrating each moment of relief. Educate, advocate, unify, and celebrate. Find us at CannaBama.com, Facebook, and Instagram.
Mullins Lobbyist Firm is Alabama's frontline lobbyist team specializing in cannabis, autism, epilepsy, and small business. We fight for you in Montgomery. For information on current and future federal and state legislation, including S 4226 Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act and S 980 Industrial Hemp Act Farm Bill 2024, visit the website mullinslobbyistfirm.com and follow us on social media. Is there a cause or issue you want to see changed or would like to get support for? Let us help you. Email al4medicalcannabisfreedom@gmail.com.
Native Black Cultivation is a true pioneer in Alabama's cannabis industry. As the first medical cannabis company to harvest in the state, they're committed to producing quality, sustainable cannabis. Native Black Cultivation blends integrity, innovation, and inclusivity to ensure every product on social and economic change through education and community engagement. Visit nativeblackcultivation.com to learn more.
Hey, Alabama football fans, are you headed up to T-Town this fall for the game? If you forget, you can shop at Tuscaloosa's first hemp dispensary, Freedom CBD and Wellness on 15th Street, just a mile up from campus. They have the largest selection of products in West Alabama and are ready to hemp you out with all your tailgate needs. Follow Freedom CBD and Wellness on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Roll Tide.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now, with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight we're talking with Martin Smith from Kentucky. And Martin, before the break, we were just getting into the definition of inherent sovereignty. So let's just start over there.
Yeah, so
Sovereignty is all the things that were here before man. So when the Bible talks about that God created these things in certain days, all of those things that he created before he created man's ability to enjoy them are what you inherit. So that's a part of your endowment. When you hear the term we are equally endowed, that means that is what we're endowed with. All of the things that were created before there was a government, before there was regulation, before there was law. So that's what I inherited, and that's sovereignly mine. To be able to, take that from there, so to be able to say, okay, if it's mine, what is new for expressing that I want it? Right? I want it.
Right.
I want what's mine. I don't want anything between me and that. So that is where inherent sovereignty meets the endowment. So to be equally endowed, you have to put something in that endowment, and so that's what you're inheriting. And so, and it's sovereignly you. So it's only you to protect it for you, and to be able to access it and to express it and to enjoy it and to allow it to be a part of who you are. So that's something, when we applied it to cannabis, really made sense, right? When you say, well, God made this seed, and in that seed is this potential, and in that potential, it is meant for me to explore what is good in it. And that's what God challenged me with whenever I was in the pulpit, thinking about, bringing a new commodity to Kentucky farmers, because our farmers have been losing their potential with the seed of tobacco being taken out of production. So we were looking for a new crop, and God challenged me with, finding the good in it. And so once I started looking at finding the good, and I found the endocannabinoid system, now that I found God's good in it, and it interacts with my pursuit for access for releasing serotonin, which is literally the chemistry for happiness. So when someone says, what does the pursuit of happiness means? It means that you are, as a human being, pursuing those things that which create serotonin and make you happy. When you're talking at this level, when we're talking defending it all the way to my inner person. So that gives me the framework I need to begin to talk about why I have and why it's important for me to the ability to create homeostasis in the body, which is the framework of happiness as well. You're not very happy when you're not in homeostasis. The chemistry is off, the mental capacity for dealing with things. It happens also with other nutritional components that are absent from our diets.
Right.
Last time we spoke about how the inner city has very little access to good nutrition, which I believe contributes to a lot of the mental health issues and things that we have going on in
Well, we
concentration.
know that gut health is mental health.
Right, 100.
Or what we eat.
100. So, that pursuit for happiness comes from a whole different angle when you include the plant science and plant nutrition that is in the world today and have been for thousands and thousands of years, not just before the United States, not just for but I'm talking in civilization's ability to thrive on this planet in its most unaware, right? We would think they were more aware, maybe, if we look at the complexity of them knowing what was around them and what was good with them. And we step over dandelions, or we have somebody come spray them, not realizing
their medicine.
Right, for inflammation and many different other things. So they were at that time without as much knowledge about what we can do with these things and represent a totality of humanity. And that's what's the great thing about today's world that I live in, opposite of like my ancestors who worked off of treaties and having the government, have the government interact with those treaties in ways that, you can read history and see there was 501 treaties and every one of them were broken. And so understanding authority and where it comes from is very important, to this sovereign argument and being able to express it. And so that's the whole next step, is to understand what did we learn from this cannabis endeavor and how do we apply it. And so along those lines, I've been working many years on the structure of increasing the THC level and also talking about, circumventing the intent of Congress, which means they stepped on your sovereign inherent sovereignty. And so when they circumvent the intent of Congress, meaning that the people voted to allow these people to represent them and the ideas that they have, we agree with. But if they're not aware of in regulation, if they're not aware of what the intent of Congress was, they can regulate anything they want to in create the dynamic of exclusion and leaving you out of your running you away from your like And so that's where we challenge them, in that space of regulatory compliance, is where did you get that constitutional authority to become between us and the endowment?
Right.
There's no constitutional.
That's the question.
There's no there's no constitutional authority for you to come between me and that. And as long as I'm not hurting anybody else or creating a issue with public safety, those type of things, but nobody's ever died of cannabis. And there's been so much I've taken the research to Congress. I can tell you on dollies into Congress to show them, what the research was for the benefits of cannabis, trying to get to the incarcerated veteran, trying to show that although they don't have rights, we can use, their ability to tell us what's going on and how it's affecting them in a controlled environment under their own authority, give them the authority, like what I'm talking about, that internal authority to pursue their happiness, to produce a happiness in a controlled environment where they're not going to harm anybody. And it's already guaranteed they're not going to. We've provided for them. So just, in the pursuit of getting that done, this is where I learned a lot about where sovereignty comes from. When you're incarcerated and you're dealing with PTSD, you get pulled over by a police officer.
I get PTSD thinking about just the concept of being in a cell. Nasty, dirty, small, confined, know nothing, nobody. I mean, that gives me hives practically. So
Well,
I
imagine-
cannot imagine being a veteran who has these flashbacks, who has these symptoms, night terrors, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, and so that's where we have to be willing to stand in society and say that's not representing our ideas. That's not representing what we believe ought to be taking place. If there is a way for the pursuit of happiness, serotonin, to be released in a jail cell to relieve the suffering
Of these human beings who, like the
already
rest
talk
of us,
around it.
are not perfect. Some of them need to stay there, but come on, they're human beings.
I can't hardly talk around the lump it puts in my throat just because I can put myself there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And-
but by the grace of God, all of us, I know I'm not in jail because God was watching out for me. Had to have been, 'cause I should be dead, much less in prison. I mean, that's true. I can put myself there just as easily because, all of us have done dumb things and made mistakes. And, but the PTSD in a jail cell, I mean, like I said, being in a jail cell creates that complex trauma syndrome after a while. The threat of violence, the need to survive, not knowing from day to day what you're going to face, and then the loneliness, the solitude, the quiet. I cannot imagine.
So if you could do something for that, for somebody who put their life on the line and made a mistake, and most likely he made a mistake on a marijuana charge that led him to the next thing and the next thing and the next
self-medicate in a state that can't appreciate what he's going through.
Right. Or hasn't. I don't say they can't because we're not telling the story right. We're not doing our part. We're not telling the story right. We're not working. We're not using our net poverty. We're not telling the right argument. We're not going to the right places to do that and to build that momentum. And today I want to talk to y'all about that. So I'm going to get that lump out of my throat real quick with a smile.
I do have a question about something you said earlier. And you were talking, because you are a pastor, you were talking about finding the goodness in it. I think I know what you mean by that, because we talked earlier about how God gave me the name CannaBama and the vision that I had for what I'm doing and well into the future. And you've had your own experience like that, but finding the goodness in it, because initially I rejected it. Nope. That's not for me. That's weed. I'm in recovery. I'm a Christian. I don't want to do that. And how wrong I was, and it took one of my Christian friends who I knew I would trust with anything, everything. And she said, I would never compromise your sobriety, but you have got to try this. And it changed my life. And that's how I ended up here. But finding the goodness in it when I was, trying to tell other people, you have to have a basic understanding of what it isn't almost. We're going to talk more with Martin Smith about inherent sovereignty. Stay with us.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority, and Dr. Bill Williams.
The Gulf Coast can expect clear skies tonight. It will be cold with temperatures in the upper 30s at daybreak. For Tuesday, sunny with highs in the upper 50s. The outlook for Wednesday, mostly sunny with afternoon readings in the lower 60s. This is meteorologist Dr. Bill Williams for FM Talk 1065.
FM Talk 1065, the Gulf Coast Weather Authority.
I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. The search continues for 7-year-old Hunter Slezak. He was on a boat with his father and his father's friend over the weekend to go shrimping off the coast of Dauphin Island. The bodies of Michael Slezak and Sam Woolley were found Saturday, but no sign of the boy. A Mobile County grand jury has cleared Mobile police officer Paul Caligari in a crash that killed Robert Sayin. The crash happened in March near the intersection of Cody Road North and Ziegler Boulevard. Students at Alma Bryant High School were dismissed from school around noon today due to a leak in their main water line. classes should be back to normal tomorrow. No class for Saraland City Schools Friday as the Spartans travel to Birmingham to play for another state football title. They face Parker High School. I'm Roseanne Haven from WKRG News 5. Local coverage you can count on.
Mullins Lobbyist Firm is Alabama's frontline lobbyist team specializing in cannabis, autism, epilepsy, and small business. We fight for you in Montgomery. For information on current and future federal and state legislation, including S 4226, Cannabis Administration and Opportunity Act, and S980 Industrial Hemp Act, Farm Bill 2024, visit the website mullinslobbyistfirm.com and follow us on social media. Is there a cause or issue you want to see changed or would like to get support for? Let us help you. Email al4medicalcannabisfreedom@gmail.com.
Native Black cultivation is a true pioneer in Alabama's cannabis industry. As the first medical cannabis company to harvest in the state, they're committed to producing quality, sustainable cannabis. Native Black cultivation blends integrity, innovation, and inclusivity to ensure every product from the farm meets the highest standard of quality and safety. Their mission extends beyond cultivation, focusing on social and economic change through education and community engagement. Visit nativeblackcultivation.com to learn more.
Hey, Alabama football fans, are you headed up to T-Town this fall for the game? If you forget to come by CannaBama first, you can shop at Tuscaloosa's first hemp dispensary, Freedom CBD and Wellness on 15th Street, just a mile up from campus. They have the largest selection of products in West Alabama and are ready to hemp you out with all your tailgate needs. Follow Freedom CBD and Wellness on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Roll Tide.
At CannaBama, we believe that CBD is for everyone. Our demographic is human. There's no race, age, gender, socioeconomic, education, or religious difference in our chemical and electrical systems. Let no human be excluded. We work hard to create an environment of learning. Our goal is to bring together all people in need of help while celebrating each moment of relief. Educate, advocate, unify, and celebrate. Find us at CannaBama.com, Facebook, and Instagram.
Welcome back to Sweet Home CannaBama. Now with all the information you want about cannabis, here's your host, Jennifer Boozer.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Sweet Home CannaBama right here on FM Talk 106.5 every Monday night at 7 o'clock. We're also live streaming from Facebook, Instagram, and X. If you would like to watch us and see Martin's handsome face in Kentucky. We were just talking about how, you mentioned finding the good in cannabis and make, did you feel like you needed kind of God's stamp of approval on what you were about to embark on? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What were you? Yeah.
So
Me too.
it was a kind of a little whirlwind in my time. And it's like one of those things where you know that you know, and then you take the first step, and before you know it, you're running. And
right.
So finding the good in it for me was, okay, you got my attention, right? When he said, I created this for the nations, for the healing of the nations. And he revealed to me that there weren't any nations when he created it. So he had predetermined that plants would be a factor in our day. And so today,
to talk about foreshadowing, right?
Yeah, well, everything is.
It's so amazing to me that when God was creating all of this, that he thought of us now as nations, people divided into nations. Before he ever created man, he already had us in mind. And that's such a beautiful concept.
Yeah, so that comes from the native aspect of our nations on this continent. We had many nations, and inside those nations were in different regions, had different plants, had different,
right,
everything. I mean, but yet different a lot
climate,
the same.
Temperatures, weather, terrain, all that.
Yeah, so things were needed for the nations. Each nation needed to take care of their own in a way that aligned with God and creation, because they depended on it so heavily. And so, I know that in my family, because I know my family history around our, traveling, my dad's folks all traveling with the fruit and vegetable harvests, and traveling through many different, all the way to California from Arkansas and just harvesting and living where they harvested. So I'm talking poor poverty, but only poor to those who didn't know how to use the surroundings around them to survive.
Right.
And so now looking back on that, but looking forward on what God called me into from the pulpit, I didn't need a shove, but I did need confirmation. And when he spoke to my spirit and said, Martin, why are you demonizing what I said was good? Find the good in it. And that's what led me on my journey of understanding the things that I'm able to express to you here today. It wasn't always that. I will tell you right now, I'm get out of the pulpit and tell you, you better quit messing with that stuff. I was the first one.
Oh yeah.
So you got to have somebody speak to you in a way that makes sense and that settles your spirit. And my native heritage was a big part of that. And my experience growing up in the Ozark Mountains, dealing with the same, and still yet today, my dad is still the guy that everybody went to, just like when I was a kid. And so, and I'm that guy now here out, in this space. But I have a real love for my native roots and the treaty language and understanding the talking leaves, as they were called by our people, legislative paperwork and contracting, all of those things that are necessary for us to engage doing things that don't throw you in jail and take your rights and sovereignty.
Right.
So,
you got to be free to get the rights.
Well, I've proven that by not being able to get to the incarcerated veteran. Let that sink in.
No, yeah, that's a glaring.
You can't hardly run from that, can you?
No. And that makes me sad. Ooh, that's heavy.
Yeah.
We spent the last month talking about veterans and how difficult life is for them and for so many different reasons, and how we as a society and the VA and conventional medicine have completely failed them. And so you have just now blown my mind open with the fact that some of them are in prison are because of cannabis. I know one. My friend Daniel. He was a vet, and then he went to prison for I think a year or two for cannabis.
And it gets you started down
suffered in that setting. I know he suffered.
And it gets you it takes you down a road that your chemical imbalance with the PTSD will drag you into darkness that you can't even imagine.
Well, and I mean, besides the psychological damage that happens and the violence and the fear, constant fear, you could talk about prison nutrition.
That's right.
That's shooting them in the foot because they can't. How are they going to maintain any modicum of mental health if they're eating subpar, food that I wouldn't feed my dog?
Yeah. Well, that's hopefully a discussion where today, what I'm about to share with you and how to get involved and how to use your inherent sovereignty is going. Inherent sovereignty works. You got to have enough people in the pipeline to pump in enough good sense. And that's where we, when we went to the legislature in the past, when we had said, hey, this is what we want to see happen, we didn't go there with every community involved.
Right.
And that's where we made the biggest leap, and when we could have made the right step. Does that make sense? And so today I want to share with you how I believe the right step with. I've shared with you my heart. I've shared with you my experiences. I've shared with you my spiritual character and my spiritual way of being.
Right. Your convictions.
And now I want to share with you how I was able to express them and get so much done with writing law and understanding. Yeah. So understanding, first of all, the inherent sovereignty is so important for you to be able to know what you're really talking about comes to what I'm expressing myself towards. I want to express myself towards having access without denial. So that's the first place to start. So there's no arguing that you have right into a conversation that has the can build the momentum enough for me to gain other people who know me. Right. That's one of the problems with dealing with legislation is
Right.
they don't know you. You come
That's
up there
and most of the time in my